Amelia, a therapist known for her empathetic approach, met with divorced parents, Sarah and David. Their faces were etched with exhaustion, their eyes reflecting a deep well of unresolved pain. They had come seeking help for their children, 8-year-old Emily and 6-year-old Ethan, who were exhibiting behavioral problems at school. Sarah and David loved their children dearly, but the weight of their separation, the bitterness of shared custody battles, and the unhealed wounds of their past relationship had cast a long shadow over their lives. They were emotionally depleted, barely able to function, let alone provide the nurturing environment their children desperately needed. Their exhaustion manifested in unintentional neglect, missed school events, forgotten promises, and a general lack of emotional availability. Amelia listened intently as Sarah and David poured out their hearts, their voices cracking with a mixture of guilt and despair. Their pain was palpable, their exhaustion evident. Amelia recognized that before she could address the children's needs, she had to help Sarah and David navigate the treacherous terrain of their own emotional landscape. Amelia gently guided Sarah and David to delve into their own emotional baggage. They spoke of their anger, their resentment, their lingering feelings of betrayal and hurt. They confessed their struggles with guilt and inadequacy, their voices choked with tears. Amelia listened with compassion, validating their feelings and helping them understand the root of their pain. She explained that their emotional exhaustion was not a sign of weakness, but a natural consequence of their unprocessed emotions. Their inability to care for their children stemmed not from a lack of love, but from a lack of emotional resources. They had been so focused on their pain, so consumed by the wreckage of their marriage, that they had forgotten how to care for themselves. The children, highly attuned to their parents' emotional states, mirrored their parents' distress through their behavioral problems. They were like little mirrors, reflecting the turmoil within their home. Amelia knew that the only way to help Emily and Ethan was to help Sarah and David heal themselves. Amelia introduced Sarah and David to the concept of self-care, comparing it to the oxygen mask principle on an airplane. You have to put on your own oxygen mask first before you can help others, she explained. Similarly, you have to take care of your own emotional well-being before you can effectively care for your children. She encouraged them to engage in activities that brought them joy, activities they had neglected since the divorce. She suggested journaling, meditation, spending time in nature, or rekindling old hobbies. She stressed the importance of seeking support, whether from friends, family, or a support group. Initially, both Sarah and David were resistant. How can we possibly focus on ourselves when our children are struggling? Sarah asked, her voice thick with guilt. Amelia gently reminded them that by neglecting their own needs, they were inadvertently neglecting their children's needs as well. Slowly but surely, Sarah and David began to incorporate Amelia's suggestions into their lives. Sarah joined a yoga class, finding solace in the gentle stretches and mindful breathing. David started going for walks in the park, reconnecting with nature and finding a sense of peace he hadn't felt in years. As they began to prioritize their own well-being, they noticed a shift within themselves. They felt calmer, more centered, more emotionally available. They were less reactive to each other's triggers, less likely to get caught up in old patterns of blame and resentment. This newfound emotional stability had a ripple effect on their children. Emily and Ethan, sensing their parents' newfound peace, gradually began to let go of their behavioral problems. They were more relaxed, more playful, more like their old selves. The home environment, once heavy with tension, was now filled with laughter and love. The journey wasn't easy, but with each small step, Sarah and David were healing, not just themselves,